the second coming of Yeshua. So first, we're doing our series leading up to Rosh Hashanah, so let's just start with a little bit of background, a couple of interesting facts on Rosh Hashanah. We know Rosh Hashanah is the head of the year. It's the Jewish New Year. This is when all the patriarchs were born. This is when Joseph came out of prison and then was able to ascend to the throne, to the right hand of the throne. The physical labor, the slavery ceased for the Hebrews in Egypt. The Exodus, which, you just read right through it like it's day by day by day, or you watch the movie and it looks like it's just one day after another, is actually an entire year. This is the month known as Tishri, and the sages teach that this is the month of the final redemption. This is the month of the coming of the Messiah. So right before Rosh Hashanah, 10 days prior to that, we have Yom Teruah. Yom Teruah is the day of shouting and blasting, the day of the shofar, the day of trumpets. This is the time in which Adam and Eve were created. During this time, it's also the time that God forgave the sin of the golden calf. This is when Moses would come down with the second set of tablets, which is on the 10th of Tishri, Yom Kippur. This is the giving of the renewed covenant. We see around the same period in time which Adam and Eve were created, we also will have man's redemption, all fall within the same time. Yom Teruah means blasting, or the Day of Trumpets, or the Feast of Trumpets. With the shofar, God calls for a solemn assembly. Teruah, which means a loud blast, literally a loud noise. It also describes the sound being made by large gatherings of people shouting in unison. Joshua 6:5. And it shall come to pass when the ram's horn makes a long blast, when you hear the sound of the shofar, the entire nation will shout a great shout. So God's intention with the shofar is to get people's attention. God is intentionally reminding his people of the first time that they heard his voice on Mount Sinai with the giving of the law. When he spoke, and it came with the shofar sound, and as he spoke, it got louder and louder, when God was delivering to them their sacred Torah. Interestingly, connecting with the Messiah, the shofar is used to call in the congregation to the tabernacle. Right after Rosh Hashanah, we move into the Feast of Tabernacles. The Feast of Tabernacles, or the Feast of Booths, is all about the millennial reign with the Messiah. So Yom Teruah is a day of public prayer. And the verb from Teruah refers to the noise made by a gathering of the faithful calling out to the Almighty. Shout to God, all the earth. Psalm 66:1. The Yom Teruah, the atonement, all fall within the 7th month. The shofar was always used as a victory call, and the shofar is always used to coronate a king. The Teruah is actually a call or a set of notes blown through the shofar. Teruah means to shatter or to break them. It's used in the word Turaim, which is you shall break them with a rod of iron. Yom Teruah is the Day of Trumpets, and we know that the Messiah will return on a trumpet blast. And we read even in Revelations with the final trumpet. So the day and the hour which no one knows when the Messiah will come. When Jesus was sitting on the Mount of Olives, his disciples came to him privately and said, "Tell us, when will this happen? And what will be the sign of your coming at the end of the age?" Yeshua replies, Watch out. Don't let anyone fool you, for many will come in my name, saying, I am the Messiah, and they will lead many astray. You will hear of noises of wars, rumors of wars, and it goes on. So here I want to point out that many will come in my name and say, I am the Messiah. There's multiple places in the New Testament where it says there are many antichrist. So there's not just one antichrist. That means any anti-gospel message of Yeshua. Again, we see this as we skip down. It says, and some of you say, look, here is the Messiah, or there he is. Do not believe him, for there will appear false messiahs and false prophets, giving great miracles and doing amazing things. And this is so to fool even the chosen. So as we skip to 30, the sign of the Son of Man will appear in the sky. All the tribes of the land will mourn, and they will see the Son of Man coming out of the clouds of heaven with tremendous power and glory. He will send out his angels with a great shofar, and they will gather his chosen people from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Some translations say the elect, and the church gets the idea that that's the Christian church and everyone that's in Christianity that's saved. But clearly it says he will gather his chosen nation, his chosen people, the people he set aside as his people, his elect. But when that day and hour will come, no one knows. Not the angels in heaven, not the Son, only the Father. So we skip down past the days of, it'll be like the days of Noah, and we get to, so stay alert, because you do not know on what day your Lord will come. Now, what am I getting at here? What I'm getting at here is, this is very, very understood in Judaism, very understood by all the rabbis and the sages. So the Jewish festivals all begin by the moon. The moon marks the beginning of the first day, unlike how we're familiar with the sun. So every holiday falls on a full moon. So whenever Passover starts, there'll be a full moon. You spot the full moon, and then you know Passover's beginning. That's every holiday. The only holiday that it's not is Yom Teruah, the day of trumpets, the day of the shofar. That is the only holiday that's not a full moon. It's the only holiday that it's when the moon first starts to appear, when the little shiver of the moon first begins to gleam. Now, because of this, you might see it over here, but people way over there on the other side of town won't see that little shimmer. These people on this mountain will see it, but the people way on that mountain won't see it. So, therefore, the Sanhedrin set up 2 witnesses. Book of Revelations sends out 2 witnesses to spot the first shiver of the moon. And then they call back and declare that Yom Teruah has started. During this time period in the Bible, all the Jewish people, and especially the rabbis and the Pharisees and them, they referred to this day as the day in which no one knows, or the time that no one knows. That is the day when the Messiah will come. That's the day, the Feast of Trumpets. Hence, while the Bible always connects with the blowing of the shofar to the coming of the Messiah. And this is also the reason, as I said in Revelations, is symbolism of the 2 witnesses. Now, there had to be 2 witnesses, because if one person seen it and came back and said it was there, but the other person over here didn't see it, then it didn't start yet. So it's not till 2 people can confirm that the moon is in the air. Now, connecting all of that together with Rosh Hashanah and the blasting of the shofar, this will be Also agreed by all Jewish rabbis and sages, the day of the resurrection of the dead. The dead will be awakened from their graves by the sound of the shofar and will live again on this earth together as body and soul. Isaiah 18:3, all inhabitants of the world and dwellers of the earth, you shall hear when a shofar is sounded. And that's pretty interesting phrasing, all inhabitants of the world and dwellers. The day Adam and Eve were created from the dirt with the blast of God's breath, so again life will spring up from the dirt with the blast of God's breath. So anyways, I hope this cleared up a lot. I hope this taught a lot. This is a lot of importance to understanding not only Judaism, but Christianity and the New Testament. So, anyways, I'll see you in my next set of videos. Shalom.